Hey everyone, Chef Kirk Lyons with You Magazine here. You know, ever since I became a father about 5.5 years ago, I have had a whole new appreciation for Father's Day. That's why today, I want to show you a recipe that I, along with a lot of other dads, really enjoy. We're talking chili. Now you should know that this is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill, throw-it-together type of chili. This is the real deal, folks. While it may be a bit on the time-consuming side, it is perfect for weekends or special occasions like Father's Day. So get ready. This is well worth it. I like beans in my chili, but if you don't, simply omit them. Now, this here is a 1-pound bag of dried black beans, and they will be far better in your chili than anything you could ever get out of a can. But when you cook with dried beans, you really need to soak them overnight. So simply open up the bag, pour them into the pot, cover them in cold water, put the lid on top, and go to bed. In order to make chili, you need chili powder. And you could very easily use the chili powder that you buy on the shelf at the store. But to make your chili awesome, you kind of have to make your chili powder from scratch. It's actually pretty easy. Observe. Today I am making a good amount of chili powder, so I am using 4 ounces of dried chilies, 2 of the dried guajillos, and 2 ounces of the dried anchos. Both of these can be found in pretty much any supermarket, and they bring some pretty great flavors to the party. But that said, feel free to use any type of chili you'd like. Your first step is to remove the stem off of the tops of these chilies. Open them up a little bit and shake out as many seeds as you can. And then repeat that with the rest of the chilies. Place the chilies on a baking pan and then stick them in a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes or until they begin to darken. Our chilies have darkened up nicely, so now it's time to let them cool for a minute. The next step is to break up these chilies into the work bowl of a food processor. And then put the lid on to your food processor and process until it resembles a coarse powder. In a small bowl, combine 5 tablespoons of our ground up chilies, 2 tablespoons of dried oregano, 1.5 tablespoons of ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Mix well, and then simply set aside. For the vegetable ingredients in our chili, we are going to use 2 large onions that have been chopped small, 10 cloves of garlic that have been minced, 7 jalapenos that have been seeded and chopped small, and a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes with their juice. And now for our liquid ingredients. 12 ounces of either Pilsner or Lager style beer, 2 cups of beef broth, preferably low sodium, 1 cup of brewed strong coffee, 1.5 cups of water, and 2 tablespoons of either white wine or red wine vinegar. Started my chili making process by browning off my meat. 3.5 pounds of chuck roast that I've chopped into 1/2-inch cubes, to be exact. And I'm working in batches because it's just too much meat to do all at once. And it's taken me about 4 batches to do it. A little bit of canola oil in the pot here, a little bit of salt and pepper, and just browning it off to get some nice caramelization on it. Here we go. That's our last batch. Okay, our meat is all done here, so we're just going to get the rest out of the pot, and we are going to add our veggies. Onions. Our jalapenos. And our garlic. Let's give that a stir. Season that up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're just going to let them sort of saute here for probably about 5 minutes until they start to soften up. Our vegetables have softened up nicely here, so let's add our meat and all of these wonderful juices back into the pot, along with the chili powder that we made. And this, folks, is when it starts to smell really good in your kitchen. We'll just give this a mix and let it cook for a few minutes. Okay, this is looking and smelling great. So let's add the rest of our ingredients. Our canned chopped tomatoes. Give that a mix. And our beef broth. And our coffee, which is going to give it a really nice deep flavor. Our beer. Our water. And then a couple tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And that just sort of balances out the whole flavor profile with a little acidity. We will season this up with some pepper and salt once again. And then give this a mix. We want to let this come up to a boil or a rapid simmer, and then let it simmer gently, partially covered, for about 1.5 to 2 hours, or until this meat starts to pull apart with a fork. While our chili's cooking, it's time to make our beans. In this pot here, I have the pound of black beans that I soaked overnight. I drained them and then added 6 to 8 cups of fresh water that I'd actually heated on the stove. And adding hot water kind of gets the cooking process going faster. I'm going to get the heat on these now and bring them up to the boil. But what's important is to kind of bring them back down to a gentle simmer as quickly as possible. Otherwise, the skins could tear. The other thing that's important, don't salt the beans while they're cooking. That could result in tough or leathery skins. In about an hour to an hour and a half, these beans are going to be perfect. Our beans have been cooking for about an hour and 15 minutes, and they look really nice. The skins are still intact, but now I just need to give them a taste and make sure they're cooked. Perfect, perfect. So what we're going to do is drain them off and add them to our chili, which, as you can see, has reduced quite a bit and gotten nice and thick, and the meat has gotten very, very tender. So drain off your beans, but word of the wise, reserve that cooking liquid, because that makes a great starter broth for things like black bean soup. And once you've drained it, add the beans to the chili, cook it for a few more minutes just so everything incorporates, and then we're eating chili. All right, folks, our chili's done. After I added the beans to the pot, I just allowed it to cook for a little bit, gave it a taste, re-seasoned it with a little salt and pepper, and now it's time to take a real taste. So here we go. That is awesome. Wow. All that's left to do now is to serve a bowl of chili to the father in your life, wish him a happy Father's Day. And one more thing, keep reading You, the online magazine devoted to your favorite subject.